Brian Little.
Welcome to the premiere of our EYBL magazine, where you can get to know the biggest prospects of European basketball. Let's get it started. But actually, what is the EYBL?
First of all, let's speak a bit about the history of the European Youth Basketball League and its Central European region. The league was founded in 1988 and its first season featured only 6 teams. However, at the beginning it was just the international competition ground of Baltic and Russian clubs. Now we are talking about a league with more than 180 teams from 27 countries in 5 different age groups. What's more, the EYBL inducted a separate but also integrated region in Central Europe in 2014. Although this is only the second season of the CEYBL, so many teams participated in this year's tournament that a regional final is necessary now to qualify teams to the super final of the EYBL. As a result, it is the final 5 for the under 14 and the under 16 boys respectively, after the regular season, which included the best youth academies of Serbia, Italy, Croatia, Germany, Slovenia, the Czech Republic, Finland, Macedonia, Hungary, Slovakia, Romania and Kazakhstan.
Gabor, could you please tell us the famous professional basketball players who played in the EYBL?
We can easily say that the current national team of Lithuania is based on former EYBL players, as NBA star Jonas Valanciunas and the former NBA player Linas Kleiza was from them. And Donatas Motijunas also played in this league. And there's another EuroLeague star, Mantas Kalnietis, who featured the EYBL. And the current best Russian player, to my mind of course, Alexei Shved, was also featured there.
The EYBL has its trademarks. But are there any youngsters who are now unknown for most of our viewers, but who shake up the international basketball in the coming years?
It's a really interesting topic because there are 3 players at the age of 18. One of them is Artur Strautins, who is a starter now at Reggio Emilia. Reggio Emilia is one of the contenders of Italian First League. And there's Arnoldas Kulboka, who is in the roster, in the EuroLeague roster of the Brose Baskets Bamberg. They were the former German champions. And Kristaps Zorix can follow the footsteps of Steph Curry as he will continue his career in the NCAA and he will play for Davidson.
And now, you can see the highlights of the Group A in the under 14 category.
The 9 teams which featured Group A in the under 14 category formed the all-time strongest race in the history of CEYBL. Not only the concerning clubs are highly prominent, but the level of competition was also outstanding during the 2 regular season tournaments in Budapest. Roko Prokacin proved his talents as he led the Croatian powerhouse Cibona Zagreb to the first place with the averages of 24 points, 17 rebounds, 3 steals and 3 blocks. USK Prague from the Czech Republic finished second after beating Alba Berlin 74-63 in its most important game back in the first tournament. The best indicator of the competitiveness of this group was the fact that there were 3 better teams than the Italian champion Stella Azzurra Rome. Although Alba Berlin could upset Cibona and won all its games in the second event, the German contender has just missed the final 5 due to the loss against USK Prague, the team that also finished with a 6-2 record. All in all, Both CEYBL Zagreb and USK Prague are legitimate contenders in Debrecen.
This was a very balanced group. What can we expect from CEYBL Zagreb and USK Prague in the final five?
As the two best teams will qualify to the super final of the whole EYBL and play together with the best teams of the other group, we can say that both of them are contenders for these positions. But we have to say that it was nothing close when these two teams met in the regular season, because the Croatians beat them by 19 points. But I can imagine to get some kind of a revenge in the finals of Debrecen. So to me, CEYBL is a real contender of this final five, but USK Prague can get some surprise as well.
Who are the most exciting talents of these two teams?
First of all, Roko Prokacin, who averaged 24 points and 70 rebounds with 3 blocks and 3 steals, seems not only be a dominant player physically, but it's also a very clever talent. And as we know, his father is a former Croatian national team player and the EuroLeague star or a EuroLeague player. We can say that he can lead this team, but there's another one from the other team. He is Daniel Plasil, with the averages of 26 points and 10 rebounds with 3 steals. He also seems to be a real exciting prospect of the future.
And now, let's see the highlights of the Group B in the under-14 category.
The competition of the Group B in this age category started in Page. It could be seen clearly that Flash Belgrade is above its rivals. The Serbians completed the first half of the regular season undefeated. Inter Bratislava also started with a perfect 4-0 tournament, while Cluj-Napoca and Debrecen each had a 3-1 record. Belgrade repeated its performance in the second stage in Budapest. What's more, Flash won its games by the margin of incredible 51 points. München was also undefeated in the Hungarian capital, but the Germans lost their first 4 contests, therefore they couldn't advance. On the other hand, Cluj-Napoca fought against their improbable odds as they won their critical game versus Debrecen and also got some luck. So the Romanians eventually made it to the final 5, what will be hosted by Debrecen, who can enter the competition thanks to its white card.
Flash Belgrade played outstanding basketball. Where is this squad in your power rankings?
It's a really difficult one because they had no close games at all, as beating all the teams in the average of more than 50 points. But as I see, CEYBL Zagreb is quite at the same level, and USK Prague can beat them on one game. So we can highlight these 3 teams as contenders of this tournament in the final 5. But I don't see them as a clear number 1 in our power rankings. So we will see, but I think they will make it to the top 2, which is the most important for them in this case. The other 2 teams, we are talking about Debrecen as a host. Their biggest aim can be to win at least 1 game in this race. And if we are talking about the Romanians from Cluj, their biggest achievement is to make it to the finals, because they were very far from that aim, and they could beat Debrecen in their most important game and get the results from the other teams as well. So for these 2 teams, the purposes are something different from the other 3.
Stefan Djinovic and Dimitrije Milovic seem to be the rising stars of the Serbians. Who would you compare them to from the history of basketball?
It's really worth to watch the highlights of Djinovic, because he plays like a young Dejan Bodiroga. All his moves and his cleverness of basketball is really comparable to the legend of the EuroLeague. And if you're talking about Milovic, he's some kind of a left-handed Kawhi Leonard or something like that, because he's a monster of rebounds. He averaged 9.5 in the first 2 tournaments. He's also a legitimate scorer, and he's also a clever player, as he's getting the assists from. Maybe he's not as good as a defender, but he can develop in this area as well.
And now, the highlights from the Group A in the under 16 category is coming.
The games of the Group A in the under 16 category started in Székesfehérvár. The Finnish BC Muki dominated in the event of October. This team won all of its 4 contests, and Szolnok was the second behind the Helsinki club. The game between the best 2 squads was a very close one. Muki won 53-52. Szolnok had a 3-1 record, so as KK Flash Belgrade and David Kornél Basketball Academy after the first regular season tournament. As a result, the second stage in Szolnok was expected to be thrilling. The Finnish contender secured its perfect record after 8 games, such an achievement that was performed by no other team in the whole competition. Meanwhile, Szolnok achieved a 3-1 record on its home court as well, and stayed in the second position due to the fact that they won their decisive battle against the Slovakian Bystrica with the help of Sam CEYBL, who averages a massive double-double.
Muki won all of its regular season games. Do you consider Muki is a real contender?
I wouldn't really say that. However, they won all of their games. The biggest rival, Szolnok, could play a 1-point game with them. And as I see, Szolnok is a bigger contender to me in the finals, and they maybe have a more balanced team, which can be a quality value for this tournament, but there's no question that they don't have fewer chances than the other 4 teams.
Despite the fact that is the European competition. But there are promising players from other continents as well.
Firstly, we can name Sam CEYBL, who was born in Nigeria, but it is his second season in Hungary. He's playing for Szolnok, and he's going to be a naturalized national team player for them. He averages 16 points and more than 14 rebounds with 3 block shots. He seems to be a clever player who can mature in the future, and he improves week by week, and he's a dominant player now in this league, and I can say that he is maybe some kind of an NBA prospect in the future.
And last but not least, the highlights of the Group B in the under 16 category is coming.
The games of Group B here in the under 16 category brought a pleasant surprise in terms of the level of competition what we've seen there. Despite the fact that USK Prague from the Czech Republic defeated the group winner Vasas Academy and Debrecen, the host of the forthcoming tournament, they missed the chance for qualifying to the final 5. The Hungarian champion Vasas Academy from Budapest was led by the highly recruited prospect Ádám Somogyi, who posted a triple-double against Levice in a K-game, scored 33 versus USK Prague and deducted for 35 points in the unofficial group final against Helios Suns. The Slovenian contender Helios also won 7 games and lost 1, but their only loss, what was handed by Vasas Academy, cost them the first place. However, they advanced to the tournament of Debrecen, where they can get the revenge as the second team in our power rankings. Debrecen got the white card as a host. They had 5 wins and 3 losses, but they can be a tough opponent on their home court, as we saw confident victories from them in the regular season.
So, Vasas Academy, Helios Suns and Debrecen joined Muki and Szolnok, forming the final 5 in the under 16 category. Can we say that all of them has the same chance to win the final 5?
Firstly, I would say yes, but if we say the results, we can see that Debrecen had not really many close contests with these teams, but as they will host this tournament, their chances are higher, but the other 4 teams are real contenders, especially for the 2 qualifier positions. But it will be more difficult to compare these 2 groups than the other age category, because of the same reasons. So I will expect maybe all of the games to be really close.
Who seems to be the best all-around player from these teams?
If you have to make comparisons in connection with talents, we can say that Adam Somogyi is some kind of left-handed Steph Curry, because he averages 24 points with more than 3 triples made each game, which is outstanding in such an age category. He also had 3 steals and 8 rebounds and more than 4.5 assists, so he's a complete all-around player, and he's a very intelligent one, and as I know him, he's one of the biggest prospects of the whole Hungarian basketball, and he's also a diligent one who trains and practices a lot day by day in order to get better. He's kind of famous in Europe as a talent, and he's a desired prospect by a lot of foreign teams as well.
Here's the schedule of the tournament. All of the games can be followed by a live online stream, and the next 2 editions of our magazine will present you the highlights of the competition during the weekend.
Stay tuned not to miss the best of the action.
Bye!
Brian Little.